1, 2, 3.
Wow, that could not have been more in sync. That should be the intro.
There it goes.
Okay.
Just proof that we can actually do it.
Yeah. Right.
All right, boys, let's roll. Let's try it again. Hello and welcome into the Section 109 podcast from Studio Breezy. I'm here with Jay,
Hey.
Matthew, Mix and Toby are running around.
Toby's under the table.
Toby's murdering
He is murdering.
a bone filled with peanut butter. He's in his happy place right now. I'm sure he'll see the postman later and make an appearance on the show
boy.
barking. But for now, boys, we are here to review. I'm going to give you 1 second if you haven't seen the game somehow. 3-0 win. Chattanooga Football Club opens up on a high note. The way you should open a season,
Was
boys.
that pause in case you were spoiling?
Yeah, I was going to give
Okay.
somebody a chance to scramble for their phone, and they probably still didn't get there in case they, it auto-played.
That was an amazing way to open the season. Sorry, I cut you
Yeah,
off.
no. So, boys, quick reactions. How you feeling? It's Monday morning.
I feel pretty good about my preseason prediction that Gold Star was shit.
Of course, you would make this about yourself.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that one. Look,
Valid though.
Yeah, you were right.
so last year we came in, new system, new coach, bunch of new players, some returners, some new players, and we played Maryland Bobcats, who were probably better than Gold Star
Yes.
is this year.
Yes.
And it seemed like the word you used was danger adjacent. Like there was some good possession play. There was a couple moments of interesting things created, but not any high leverage opportunities. Truly, we were close to 1 or 2 passes away from a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. And I think that you could say that again about today or about Saturday's game. Because I think we were 1 or 2 passes away from a lot of really dangerous opportunities. I think the difference is, I think the quality of player we have, both defensively and offensively, is, I'm not going to say miles better, but is better overall. And really good players, especially early, especially in a very systematic type of approach. You need them to make plays early on when not everything is firing together. And that's what ended up happening against Gold Star. Just some really good players made some big plays.
Yep. It's a beautiful place.
And converted some stuff to get us on the board and get us out of danger.
So before we jump into the timeline, I just want to go straight into one of my takeaways. So we each have 3 key takeaways from this game, and one of my takeaways is wing play.
Yes.
You said a few good players made a few good plays. That was the difference in the game, though I would quibble a little bit because I think as a team we were also just better overall. But Taylor and Mumu, our wing play, and Marcus was great too. He hit the bar twice and scored a penalty, right? But our wing play was miles better than it has been other than the Atlanta United game all preseason. Now, we didn't see every game, right? But we came out flying. I think, I say this with respect, I think Mumu and Taylor both kind of up and down preseasons. They weren't brilliant every game. And in this game, they were brilliant, both of them from start to finish. Taylor could have had 3 assists. Mumu had the goal that he scored with his head/shoulder. He had the cutback that he's perfectly placed out of reach of the goal. And he's celebrating before it even goes in. He's halfway to the corner flag. I love a goal on a cutback where the player who scores is halfway to the corner flag before the ball even goes in the net.
Yep.
It was just the wing play. We were really dominant. We were really tricky, and we were a problem all up and down those wings. And if this is the level, and it's game 1, right? But if this is the level of wing play we're going to get this season, we're going to be a fucking problem.
Here's the thing. I actually disagree with you. I don't think we were overall that great and dominant. I thought we were really good in some moments, but I didn't think we were nearly where we need to be. And that's also what makes me excited, because we got some moments of quality and some moments of magic from some good players that have been inconsistent. And I thought there was still inconsistency throughout that match.
I didn't say CFC played a 10 of 10 game. I said our wing play was much, much better than it was all preseason.
I agree with that point, too.
Taylor could have had 3 assists. Mumu had 2 goals. If you're going to shit on our wing play for 2 goals and 2 assists out of our wings.
Both goals, that one was the penalty. The other 2 came directly from wing play.
Yeah, well, and let's not forget the cross that gets played in for Marcus, where he heads
on
the ball.
Penalty.
It's a Taylor Gray ball.
Yeah.
So.
And Taylor had another ball in the box that came across, I think, from Mumu. No, that Mumu chipped over the top, that he takes it first time instead of trying to settle.
Yeah.
And granted, maybe it's a hard one to take, so I'm not.
And the wind makes that also a factor. Let's just go ahead, and since we're talking about this, and I really truly believe that there was still some up and down from both wingers in the match. But one of the things, maybe one of the most key points that I had in terms of specific players in the offseason was I wanted to see more production from Taylor Gray, not just getting on the score sheet, but we kind of predicted that the wingers were going to be massively important in terms of creating goals. You don't see Marcus receiving a ball and beating 3 players, and scoring. Usually, Marcus's production comes from
exactly
from being in the right spot at the right time and receiving the ball and
making a good
finish it, which means you need people to pass him the ball.
Right.
And so what I wanted to see is, does Damian take a step? Where does Matai Mwape fit into this? And I also wanted to see more assists from Taylor Gray.
Well, you got 2 to start.
And he could have had 2 more.
Taylor just matched his assist total from last year.
Nice.
In the first game.
First game.
Well done.
So let's rewind a little bit. I know we got into a little bit of the debate there, which Matthew and I did not talk that much before this episode. So there may be more debates on this episode because I don't know where he's coming from. Let's go with our starting 11. So Jean-Antoine, no surprise in goal, right? We know he's the nailed down starter. Jungwoo So, starting at right back. We had a little prediction time last time, and we were right on that. Anatoly Prepelica. At right center back, Aiden Bowers. At left center back, we think that will be the starting partnership throughout most of the season. Joseph Perez, who looked fucking
amazing,
awesome with that hair, right?
Yeah, and
also on the field.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's more what I was talking about. But yeah, the hair was sweet too.
He has very much for the vibes, man. He is very much a be everywhere type of player. He is all over the field. Richard Dixon, no surprise there, holding it down. Captain Alex McGrath, who finally got a break, by the way, did not play the whole game, which was nice to see.
He got the ever-living shit kicked out of him.
I know. So I want to see our key players get some breaks, right, throughout the season. Luis Garcia Souza, shout out. We called that as well. He played until the 64th minute. Mutai Mwape, Mumu, played at right wing. Taylor Gray played at left wing, and Marcus started up top, which means we nailed the starting lineup in our preview.
Nailed it.
If we can be a little bit.
Yeah, please do. I wasn't here, so probably would have been wrong.
So the goals, let's go through chronologically. The goals come in the 27th minute, a Mumu header from Taylor Gray via Richard Dixon. So that's a Richard Dixon hockey assist. 54th minute, Mutai Mwape, again, Senor Mumu get a give and go from the edge of the box from Taylor Gray. Just a beautiful little dink finish. And this is one I was talking about where he was celebrating before it even hit the back of the net. Loved it.
That was
By the way, that's also a great move. It comes off of a free kick.
Yep.
And I think it was Taylor's pass in behind to an on-rushing Alex McGrath, who collects it, holds it, gives it back to Taylor, and then they start the movement. Really, really good stuff there.
Yeah, textbook 1-2.
It is, but also there's a turnover there. The ball comes in, it gets cleared back out straight to Mwape, and Mwape plays a 1-2.
I thought it was going to be McGrath's pass into Taylor, and turns out it's a defender nicking the ball away straight into Taylor, and that's how it starts. But that's really, really good that we had numbers there. We were able to pin them, and Gold Star makes a mistake, as they did quite often in that game, and we had all the pieces in position to make them pay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was great. And then in between those, or before that actually, Marcus and one after, Marcus hit the crossbar on a chip. Marcus hit the crossbar on a free kick, and he also chested a ball wide.
The flag was up for offside.
But hold on.
I don't believe in offsides.
Hold on. You said chip. A chip from fucking half field, dog. Like literally, it was so awesome.
One of these days,
I was gonna freak out. And if had the wind not been 2,000 miles an hour in that direction, as if any of you saw Dave Adams holding the flag, almost flying away, you knew exactly which direction the wind was going, and that's what pushed the ball over the crossbar. Take the wind away. That's a beautiful goal by Marcus.
One of these days, Marcus is going to score one of those half field shots.
You both know this, but we can let it sit and resonate for a second. And I know I'm getting off topic, but for the fans, if you haven't watched our goal special, you should go back, because the only other goal to be scored from that distance by CFC in the past was
Leo DeSmit
against Asheville.
Yeah.
We were already up like 7-0.
which is why I didn't score very high on the thing.
Yeah.
I actually rewatched our goal special the other day.
Beautiful.
It's so good, man.
I think that was actually the third goal of that game.
It's the only.
Was it? It could have been.
It's the
I just
only
remember we
truly
smashed them.
great podcast we've ever done.
Yeah, hilarious. We kept my coworker there so late. Anyways,
Yeah, we
the
did.
next one
so
was
so Marcus hit the bar on that booming chip when it was 1-0. A few minutes later, right at the very, very end of the first half, he hits the bar on the free kick opportunity.
But then
One of these days.
But then he converted the pin.
Yep. And like he said on our podcast, he just wants to get one a game. That's
Yeah.
what he told me
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the podcast or after the game. Excuse me. When I saw him at CBC, he was like, "Well, at least I got one," which is perfect. So, yeah. Look, that's kind of the way the game went. I'll give you some subs real quick, so we have that. So I love and we said on this podcast, Rod does not make substitutions. Rod made 1, 2, 3, 4 substitutions in this game.
So number one, I believe that Rod doesn't make substitutions unless he has depth, and I think this team has some depth. Number one, and number two, like they've got a game in 4 days after that one. It's early in the season. Like it's not really a surprise if you have the depth and you have matches coming in. You're going to have to rotate a little bit, and the other thing is we put this game to bed early.
It's true.
I think we let him hang around longer than I really wanted to, but that's life.
You're also extremely picky.
Correct.
And that's only because Roddy Green and Alec Reddington were back in the stadium, too. It was slightly nice.
Yeah, we were slightly. By the way, we roasted the whole bench about Alec Reddington not playing as soon as we got up to 3-0, and poor Alec covered his head with a towel, like trying not to be whatever, like seen, I guess.
that's
I
beautiful.
talked to him for a second.
Love
That's
that
beautiful.
guy.
I
By the way,
told him we were going to do it, so
they would have.
He knew.
They would have scored. They would have stopped more goals if they would have started Alec Reddington.
100%.
I'm going to give you some subs real quick, then let's get into our takeaways or whatever else we want to get into. Alice McGrath comes out in the 83rd for Ethan Corrin. Nice to see Ethan Corrin get some more NISA minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a young player who's coming around and learning, and he also came in midfield, not at center back, which is just a note to see.
Dandy.
Luis Garcia Sosa came out for Beto in the 64th. I think that is your current two players vying for that spot, depending if Mumu is playing on the wing. So
it also makes a lot of sense because he's been in camp for the shortest amount of time of anyone.
Luis
may not have as much fitness, and there's a game on Wednesday to think about. Like, and we were up 3-0. It makes perfect sense.
100%. Damian Rodriguez, the kid, comes in the 76th. Loved seeing him back out there. He said, I asked him after the game how he's feeling. He said he's feeling good. He's back healthy, so that's very, very good.
He looked pretty good in his short cameo.
Taylor Gray moved up top after Marcus Nagelstead was subbed off in the 76th for Juan Louis. Marcus and Alex both got a 15-minute-ish rest in this game. That is so good.
Yep, that was great.
That's all you could
Coming up for...
That's all you could ask for. It looked like Alex came off because of some sort of knock. He had taken an absolute beating in that game.
Yeah.
So we'll be hoping that it's just precautionary, nothing big, and that he's ready to go
For the US Open Cup.
on the Open Cup game against Des Moines Menace.
Can I go ahead and just kind of put mine out there?
Do it.
Go for it.
I have way more than 3, but I think they'll be short. First one, shout out to Joao Costa.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to the stream, if you weren't there, or if you listen to the stream, he did color, and it was absolutely great to have him. And have him be back in the building in general because he's an absolute legend. Possibly the fastest player to ever play for CFC.
Did you give him that tidbit? Because they said it on the
No.
broadcast that somebody on the sideline said he was probably the fastest player to ever play for CFC.
No, I just...
That's a hell of a race, by the way, because like Joao was fast,
super fast.
like Alan Webb was fast.
Oh yeah, Webb.
Ryan Marcano.
Ryan Marcano, Clayton Adams. Like,
Hey,
there's
by the way, my
there's some
money's still on
speedster.
Joao. Depending on how far that race goes, like at top speed, maybe.
Oh, I'm going box to box. I'm going Joao all day.
Dude,
He
Joao
picks up the ball on the left wing and does things by himself. We've all seen him do it. I'm
Nobody-
specifically speaking about that one goal against Nashville.
Nobody runs faster with the ball than Joao Costa.
So the next two that I have, I kind of combined together, and that is great communication and confidence. I really like the confidence that I saw on the ball, specifically coming from your striker. I just feel like you want your striker to be like, I can score goals, and to see Marcus play well. Had a bunch of chances, plus he finally got the pin, but also him having the balls to take it from half was amazing. Great communication. For some reason, my friends decided to sit all the way on the left side, front row, opposite from y'all. And so I went down there with them and my wife, and they all wanted to hang out. So I was like pissed. I was like, well, I kind of want to see the offensive side, but that gave me the option to watch the back line and the goalkeeper work together, which I thought was phenomenal. The communication was great. I really like having the size back there. That was great. Concessions from the stadium point, that felt great. Now we can talk about that and dive in on that, but I know you guys earlier said you didn't. Did you get anything? You didn't.
No, so all I did was go tinkle at halftime. So I would love
concessions total 9.5 out of 10 upgrade for me. I could get beer anywhere I went. When I was getting food, I didn't have to do the 2-line like tango and try and figure that out. And all my friends had beer, and I didn't feel any friction like I might have in the past because there were less lines.
Hell yeah! Did you do the little Mapco like?
I did.
Did that work well?
Yeah, it worked great. I got 2 beers and a pack of Skittles.
Hell yeah!
I was out there in about 4 minutes after getting in line, you know.
Not bad.
And then the last one is the only complaint I'll have about the game, and Matthew's already told me to give it time, and I will. Is I want replays in the stadium.
Yeah,
The one thing that we didn't have, and I had some friends who kept talking about it, and it did sort of bum me out too, because I was like, I do want to see that
pop back up on the jumbotron.
Yeah. And but overall stream quality between the announcers and the camera equipment and things that they're doing now, absolute massive improvement. It looked amazing.
Definitely some room for improvement there, but it was, to be honest with you, a lot better in the preseason and first game of the season, right? They got some kinks to work out.
They got tons of time. I am an accountability person for my favorite club, you know?
Yeah,
so
of course.
I just want to make sure that I say that, even though I mean no disrespect in any way, because in every other regards or every other aspect, the stream was awesome.
I agree with you. That makes perfect sense. Matthew.
Those are my takeaways.
Love it. 3 and a bonus. Perfect number. Well done.
I mean, that's what we do normally.
3 and a bonus.
There's 7 on this list, and somehow
But you chose 3. Yeah, you figured it
I
out.
said everyone. I crammed a couple together.
My man.
So we want to do my takeaways now?
Sure.
So first takeaway is we controlled the game. And when I say that, I mean like we decided when opportunities were going to happen for us. We also decided when opportunities were going to happen for Gold Star. Be that in giveaways, be that in untimely or a not well worked pressing. There were a couple of moments, especially from the right hand side of our team, where our press was not very well coordinated, and Gold Star, who has like some decent players and decent technical quality on the ball, were able to dribble or pass out of it, and that's when they would generate some action on the counter.
You said obviously that Gold Star is as bad as you thought they were going to be, but you're right. On that side, that was the only place where I had a little bit of scare, because I could see that if a team could properly counter and had some real skill above where Gold Star was, that's where they would have taken advantage of.
So I think one of the things that happened there that I saw is we missed some tackles.
Oh yeah,
and so like I thought our press was actually decent. I think we missed some key tackles and some key moments. My hope is that will come.
I think it was decent on the left side. I don't think it was great on the right side. And we did miss some tackles for sure. I think there are some.
We also had some unlucky bounces there.
There are also just some, like, sometimes players make good plays, and Gold Star has a few players that can make some good plays. The trick in soccer is
don't let their good players make good plays.
You need like 11 players to make, or maybe 3 or 4 players to make good plays in the same sequence a couple of times over and over and over again. And Gold Star routinely was able to make well, maybe not routinely, but was usually was able to make like one good pass.
You've given a lot of credit to Gold Star today.
Or one good dribble.
After absolutely destroying them immediately.
A team that had like 2 shots on goal.
The very first thing he did was say, my prediction of them being terrible was right. And now it's like...
No, he's like, but Gold Star made all these great plays.
I think they're a really bad team, but they have some decent players, and so they were able to generate a couple of moves from deep.
Yeah.
And then like the next pass or the decision making in terms of like, let me shoot the ball from 30 yards because I haven't had a sniff in about 10 minutes or something. Like it is very classic. And actually that brings me to this is point 3, but I'll come back to point 2. These are Rod's principles at work. He wants to control the game. He wants to decide when we attack. He wants to decide how the other team can attack. He wants to win the ball back as a defensive mechanism. And it's all about control.
And he wants them to feel like they'll never get another chance, so they pull up that shot early because they think they're not going to get a shot.
They pulled up.
Sorry.
They pulled up
Perfect.
routinely. Just like, I mean, it's like logo threes. Because you didn't know if you were ever getting another shot.
Logo threes.
I love it, yeah.
I call those NISA shots, and I hate to do that, but like when you're like, oh, it's a play...
Well, it's just the idea, and you see this especially with inexperienced players, but also players that don't trust what they're doing. Like that may be the biggest difference between a team like Michigan Stars and a team like Gold Star. Michigan Stars believes they will get another opportunity, so they don't always pull unless it's just like the only option available, because they're also worried about not having the numbers back to defend.
Right.
Gold Star, like you could see the terror in their eyes of, fuck, I am 30 yards out. There is no one around here.
I can see the goalkeeper for the first time.
I can see the goalkeeper. Like, there's no one immediately in front of me on defense. I'm taking a shot. I'm playing hero ball. We saw this happen multiple times. That is, and like you take a statistically weaker shot. I mean, maybe it goes in, it's a crazy banger, right? But it's statistically not a great shot opportunity. Whereas, a team coached by Rod in that position would be coached into thinking about how they can upgrade that opportunity into something a little bit better.
Yeah.
That was a quintessential example of how you dominate a game so much that just like that domination mentally causes the other team to make mistakes when they do have their, they do have their moments.
Yep.
And it helped us we didn't have to be great on Saturday because we were just good enough. And in turn, that also made Gold Star worse. Point number 2 is we are a work in progress. When you play the possession system that we play and you commit the numbers forward that we do, you cannot make mistakes if you are the outside backs or the center backs or the 6. You cannot just give the ball away.
I was about to say 40, of the
50
five,
yards.
Any of the 5 in the back of that formation.
And the goalkeeper too should be included in that.
True.
You cannot give the ball away 50 yards up the field and turn it into a 3-on-2 or a 3-on-3 scenario. Like those types of giveaways result in the biggest opportunities for the opposing team.
Yeah.
And we
had a few.
We had a few. And like that's not necessarily surprising. We have given up a few of those in preseason. We gave up a few against Gold Star. The difference in our preseason and Gold Star is that the teams we played were just better in preseason.
Right.
They were more likely to be able to take advantage. They were more likely to recognize the situation. And the giveaways that we gave against Gold Star were just higher up the field. And we were able to recover a little bit better at the same time. But it's a work in progress. It's always going to be a work in progress this early. We started 8 new players in comparison to the season opener last year. Taylor, Alex, and Richie were the only ones that started the first game of the regular season last year. Marcus was added, I think, in the fifth or 6th game.
As a starter.
Yeah. Seven new players overall, if you include Marcus in that 4, including the back line, the entire back line and the goalkeeper, as well as one of your 8s and your right winger. So it's not surprising that it was a slow start. I think we saw the XG from Jed Henderson and including the penalty, which is he valued it at 0.85. I think that's the NISA number, whatever it is. It only came out to what, like 1.38? That's not ideal. Now, a lot of that's game state. We got a fairly low percentage chance fall in Montaya's goal in the 27th minute. I mean, a header that bounces and then goes over a guy.
Yep.
Like, that's a relatively low percentage chance. And because of the game state, we were able to just exert control and patience. I mean, after that third goal, up until the very, very end, where you had some of the subs, like, do some good pressing opportunities and traps, and we were just unlucky not to actually take some shots off of that. We were really content, and Gold Star was playing for the goal difference at that point. They didn't really come out and press us, so we just passed it back and around, like chill.
Yeah, we
you would see we would turn the ball over in the middle of the field, and then it was never like the next line breaking pass down the field. Let's take advantage. It was control. Send it back to the center backs, reset, get everyone situated.
Get the ball to the wings.
Pass, wait for the number 9 to come out and shape the next pass, which we were happy to slip in, and then we'd start playing again.
Yeah.
We would bury 30 seconds at a time doing that.
Yeah.
Because the game was done and dusted. Why exert yourself when it's still early and you have the Open Cup coming up on Wednesday?
Yeah. Totally.
So I all in all, it was exactly what we needed, but we still have a little ways to go.
It felt really good. I will say, like, we don't ever start a season like terribly. I mean, I can't remember in recent years. I'm sure we have, but
I mean, last year we drew.
Last year was a rough start, but it was a product of like playing a brand new system with a bunch of new guys
and a Darwin Espinal wonder free kick.
And we had
exactly.
Yeah, we had a little bit of bad luck and
a Flower City thing.
Stop.
Yeah.
So that was refreshing to have what happened on Saturday happen.
Breezy, what are your 3? I'm going to save my bonus one for the end.
All right. So wing play, I already mentioned that both Taylor and Mumu were very good overall in moments. And the most important part is I'm talking about the highs. The moments
the highs are what matters.
The highs are what matters. And look, when you're an attacking player, it kind of doesn't matter if you miss 3 chances if you bury 1 or 2, right? And I'm not saying they missed those, but like the highs were great, and there's a lot to build on there. So that's my number 1. The wing play was very good. And it was something we hadn't seen in the preseason, them kind of put that together, put those highs together. Number 2, we forced a lot of very bad shots from Gold Star. The first 20 minutes are what we're kind of likely to see, I think, this season. A lot of very, very physical play from another team. And they didn't keep us from creating like anything, but they made it much harder. But as soon as they ran out of gas, and they did pretty quick, and they got a couple yellow cards early. I mean, look, they got a yellow card in the box before the game it was even like before a corner kick was even taken.
By the way, that was on us.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Welcome to the Section 109 podcast.
You weren't in the stadium. They had it wrong on the broadcast.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, are you sure?
Yeah. Positive.
Totally.
Talked about it after the game.
Totally.
Okay.
Back up.
That's something else we're gonna have to make sure we correct.
So it's not in the stadium. The announcers originally had it right where they said it was on a Gold Star player, and then in stadium they said it was on Prepelica, which it was not. Some guy did. I think some guy said something. I think it must have been for dissent in the box because he came immediately up and gives it to Gold Star player.
It wasn't. It would have probably been for like stepping on Prepelica's foot. Because he has to adjust his shoe.
Right, and that may have also been what it was.
sequence.
But my point being is it happens to something that he does, but like there's no like fisticuffs altercation or anything.
Right.
There's just something that happens, and they give it on the Gold Star player, but they couldn't tell. In stadium, they then announced that it was on Prepelica. It wasn't. And so the announcers go back, and then they corrected it in stadium, apparently. I didn't hear that part. David said they corrected it. And I missed that whole part, but they never went back and corrected it on the broadcast, probably because they couldn't hear it, is my guess.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
So
But I'm just letting you know that there was a giant bunch of confusion. No one knew what happened, but it was not on Tully.
So what?
But it would have been extremely Tully, who averaged a yellow card every other game in his professional season last season.
So one thing that I'm going to remind myself to do now is to go back and check the NISA stats on the website, because that sometimes gets imported straight from whatever feed is done, whether it's via 11 or via whatever. The referee's report is what matters. That's what like the clubs will get sent out. But like I'm on a mission this year to make sure the fucking stats are right. and like sending corrections every week. So I'm gonna have to go back through and make sure I get that right, because it was never corrected on the stream.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you, I'm right. You sometimes you have to be in stadium to get something right, Matthew. Not in Atlanta or wherever you were. The first 20 minutes we're going to see that a lot, I think. So I'm glad that we overcame it. Is my point there. And then I think we forced a lot of bad shots from Gold Star, which you already went over in part of yours. Like, we really made it so that Gold Star, when they got a sniff of the goal, they pulled up and shot.
Yep.
And if you're going to play like that against us, you're going to lose the vast majority of the time.
Especially with who we have in goal now.
Exactly, and with the quality of our defenders, who just defensively are higher quality than they have been in previous years.
I felt that we were at moments, especially on the right side in the press, we were when we got played out of, we were just as open as we were last year in a concerning way. The difference is, I think our goalkeeping is better than last year. I think our left back play is better than last year. I think both of our center backs are better than last year defensively, and I'm not willing to say that Jung Woo-so, who I thought had a decent game, he struggled at times, but I thought he had a decent game, is better defensively than Tate Robertson. Like, I'm not going there. Would never do that to Tate. But I do think that, like, the quality that we have back there is better defensively, better one-on-one. They read the game a little bit better defensively. They're just better defensive players. And I think that also helps us, because we were not opened up as much as we were last year. And when we were, the quality was just better in terms of defending those moments,
stepping up, taking the ball
even with
away,
the same amount of players that we had back last year.
Yeah, shout out to KG. I love the guy for sure.
Yeah, KG and Alec,
but there's something about the difference between let's say, so it was like 2 free kicks, and they both immediately for them they both took chances inside the box, because even though they weren't that close. But he came out and just grabbed the ball and then fell down, wasted time, got up and played. And to see him jump over people like that, we didn't get that with KG or Red.
Yeah, he can go get a ball like he's a rebounder in a basketball game. He can just go get it up top, a way that those guys couldn't, quite frankly. My number 3 is the same as your number 2. We have a long way to go here. This was not a completed product. We were not great all game, but we had enough moments of brilliance that it didn't matter. We had enough moments of great team play that it didn't matter. We got the results, which is exactly what you expect to see. Week 1 is the building the process. It's not all connecting yet, but trust the process. Trust the process.
The process, okay.
So we got to trust the process. Like, we've said this in the preseason, but I think it bears repeating. Last year, we got better as the season went on. This is a style where if you continue to work on it and play, you're going to evolve and you're going to get better as the team gels and molds, and those partnerships get better and the tactics get better and the technique gets better. Like, all the things that we're working on to make this system better. It's not just come out and smash them in the mouth. And, like, there's a way to win playing smash them in the mouth. So I'm not shitting on it, but we choose to play. Rod chooses to play in a way that builds and iterates all throughout the season, getting better.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a long season. This is only step 1, but I feel good about where we're at, and I'm excited for the season.
We had some quality creation from the wings that we've talked about, but we also had quality from the wings in build up that we didn't see as often in preseason.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean Taylor and Mattia. Like, Luis Garcia Sosa and Alex McGrath both, like, would occasionally flare out to the wings, especially if the moment called for it, if one of the wingers had cut inside, which both did frequently. There was good interplay there, and it constantly provided different looks for the Gold Star defense. And it helped in general build up and in possession, and it also helped in sort of starting some of these attacking moves. And it was really nice to see. And I think that is I think we're going to see a lot more of that going forward, especially as that gets a little bit more fleshed out.
Well, boys, we're at 33 minutes. We've given all our takeaways. Was that your last bonus takeaway, or you got one more?
No, I've got an actual bonus takeaway. And this has come from watching a couple of the NISA games over the weekend, and also from watching a bit of USL.
Also,
both Championship and League One these last couple weeks.
Yeah, I just watched CFC, man.
There are more teams in the lower divisions than ever before playing possession football. It doesn't look like rod ball necessarily, but And like there's not a lot of this in League One, to be clear, but like Richmond has a clear identity right now. I watched part of the game against Charlotte. They have a clear identity in terms of they want to play on the ground, they want to play out of the back, and Charlotte beat the shit out of them for it, by the way. But like there's a clear emphasis on trying to play with possession and play with control. You saw in the Club de Lyon and LA Force game, both teams wanted to like play with possession, keep the ball. No one's got massive strikers to hoof things to. So they were constantly trying to play possession and probe and do those kinds of things. You saw this with even Michigan. When Savannah would press Michigan, they're trying to play possession soccer to create overloads and then they usually have a big ball at the end of it. Savannah played exclusively possession, which was really interesting to see from a team I thought was going to be utter shit. They may be better than we thought. Savannah.
That's awesome.
But like Tulsa's out there playing possession soccer. El Paso's playing possession soccer, and that's in addition to the classics like Louisville and Sacramento and Tampa. Some of those teams aren't very good right now, but like I'm seeing more of it, and I can't help but think that watching Rod at Stumptown and then watching Rod at CFC, the more teams are, especially as they're trying to develop players and maybe develop young players to sell them on, more teams are looking towards possession soccer as a means of a style of play, not just because of wins and losses, but also because of player development. It's going to be really interesting to watch this year to see if that holds. I mean, NISA is borderline a possession league now. I mean, even Gold Star tried to play possession. It was fucking stupid, but like that's what they were trying to do.
I look forward to you keeping Jay and I up to date on that, because I can tell you what we're not going to do.
Pay attention to any of that. Well, I'll pay attention to the style of play of other teams.
Sure.
I do like seeing less. Love him, but I do love seeing less Fuller ball. That is.
I think. I mean, like, so. Just to be clear here, Fuller played possession a year that he was here. In 2019, it was the same kind of possession soccer.
That's because Bill Elliott was the coach for 3/4 of the year.
That's because they recruited the roster together. But
because Bill Elliott was the coach for the first half.
What league was that?
That was Members Cup.
In the Members
NPSL,
Cup.
the Members Cup.
So that also is a factor because the talent level is different.
The talent level is different. The players available. I think Foles,
there's a bunch of
I think Foles would use the players he has available and the budget he has available and like picks whatever he thinks he can win. And in 2019, it was to play possession champagne football. Is that a nice little squeak from Toby there?
You got him going, like we get you going on the throws. If you just say Fuller didn't play possession, you just get him going. he just gets going.
It'll be interesting to watch throughout the year, especially in NISA, which I think is a possession technical league, and I'm curious to see, like, do other teams try to do that, especially when they don't play us? Do they try to adjust their tactics against us, which is what we want?
Yes, 100%. That's why I liked watching us. That's the best part about scoring the first goal against Gold Star. I looked at my friend and I was like, well, there goes their entire game plan. Now they've got to shift, and now it's like, for us, we just got to keep doing what we're doing. I'll
be really curious to see if Gold Star, when they play Detroit City, a team that will be very happy to just, you can have the ball, we're going to hang out back here until you make a mistake. Is Gold Star naive enough to try to do that same thing and play a little football against Detroit in Keyworth?
Speaking of the Open Cup, Wednesday, next Open Cup. If you're not going to Des Moines, which I recommend you go to Des Moines, go to Chattanooga Brewing Company, watch the game. They'll have it on from 8 to 10, and we will be back to review that game after it goes. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.